So, at the risk of turning the comment section into a shit show, I'm going to get a little political here because, well, this film is explicitly political. And if you can't handle that, well...
Get out. Sorry, man. Okay. Get out!
Now, for those of you still watching, today we're going to be talking about a social phenomenon known as a microaggression. A microaggression is an indirect, subtle, or even unintentional expression of discrimination towards a marginalized group. And they are extremely difficult to explain to people who've never experienced them. They tend to be innocuous, exceedingly minor moments that nonetheless display ignorance or bias in a way that just makes you feel small, alienated. Something like this.
So how long has this been going on, this thing? How long?
Or this.
With your frame and your genetic makeup, if you really pushed your body, and I mean really trained, you know, no pussyfooting around, you'd be a fucking beast.
Invariably, describing these incidents to people is like playing Russian roulette, where the bullet is some variation of the phrase, just get over it. It's not a big deal.
Everything's a microaggression. This makes me want to vomit. I mean, like, liberals don't think we should be allowed to say anything because everything can be a microaggression. They need to crawl back into their safe space, put on All Things Considered, and get the heck out of everyone else's business.
Get Out's massive success was a hugely important moment for me. Not just because of its excellence as a genre exercise, nor its nuanced and oh-so-real depiction of racism in contemporary America. No, the thing that really stood out to me was how it deals with microaggressions, specifically how Chris deals with them. First, there's the immediate reaction.
Black is in fashion.
You can see him holding back that initial rush of anger, then struggling to find an appropriate response. And then, finally, the response he chooses.
Pardon me, I'm gonna take some pictures.
Sure.
Which is almost always awkward because, well, what the hell can you say? Chris is acutely aware of how ridiculous he sounds to people who just don't get it. Trying to explain to his white girlfriend why finding his phone unplugged feels threatening is a lot like trying to explain why this feels threatening.
How you doing today? That's not good.
Wow.
In a situation like this, it's almost always easier to just bite your tongue and let it go than it is to open your mouth and be confronted with this.
Say it out loud and hear how ridiculous you sound. I'm upset the mascot wears a cowboy hat and has a mustache because it may or may not be reminiscent of a Confederate soldier. Sounds like history to me, but oh, I forgot, you'd rather study feelings than bother with reality.
Thus, Chris is the one who ends up having to apologize and reconcile over and over again.
Cool. It's all good. Don't talk to your dad. It's fine. It's fine. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Forget about it. Oh, no, it's cool. I was just confused. Forget it. Never mind.
No. Stop. Don't do that. Don't.
Okay. I'm sorry. It's all good, right?
So you're comfortable enough, right?
It's perfect. Thanks.
But no matter how many times he demurs to the feelings of others, it just keeps happening.
Do you find that being African American has more advantage or disadvantage in the modern world?
And it happens a lot. The effects are cumulative. If they weren't such a regular occurrence, nobody would care. As real as this portrayal is, the film's true stroke of genius is that it depicts this within a horror movie. Because of the genre, everybody watching the film is expecting something awful to happen. Every single moment holds the potential for life-threatening danger. Despite the numerous false alarms, we all know that at some point, the axe will fall. We don't know when or how often, but it's as certain as death. The audience, in other words, regardless of their identity, experiences the same guarded tension marginalized people feel every day. Those of us who are the target of racism move through the world knowing that at some point, someone who looks like this is going to say something like this.
I do know Tiger.
Oh, that's great.
Super.
Gordon loves Tiger.
It won't be everybody, of course, and it might not happen today, but it will happen. so best be on your guard. Because you never know when this...
By the way, I would have voted for Obama for a third term if I could. Best president in my lifetime, hands down.
...will lead to this. And then there's the betrayal we've experienced throughout the ages, where people who purport to be our allies suddenly take aggressive action against us.
Where are those keys, Rose?
You know I can't give you the keys, right, babe?
I don't think anyone will disagree that suspicion and a heightened state of alertness are absolutely essential to surviving a horror movie. But because the lives of minorities like myself exist in the real world and not a medium full of tropes, these states of mind become, in the eyes of many, totally unwarranted. But maybe a film like this, couched in the entertaining and familiar, can help others understand how and why it is we see the world the way we do. Maybe instead of laughing off our concerns, people can be just a little bit more like Rod.
Bro, how you're not scared of this, man?
If you like that, please share and subscribe. I have more videos coming down the line, including the long-awaited Alien 3 essay, plus a couple videos on Twin Peaks: The Return, and I'll be launching my Patreon account very soon, so stay tuned.